Yeah, good evening. Yeah, we pay Sanji Chudan, Soji Chunan, Chancho, Batu, Dani, Jatsun, Chi, Pedaki, Jinso, Jinbi, Sonan, Chi, Dola, Pencher, Sanji, Drubar, Sho, Sanji Chudan, Soji Chunan, Chancho, Batu, Dani, Jatsun, Chi, Pedaki, Jinso, Jinbi, Sonan, Chi, Dola, Sanji, Drubar, Sho. English?
In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings.
Ma nam ka dan yambi jan tam die dewa dan devi ju dan dembara chur je dunga dan dunga ki ju dan chebara chur je dunga mi bi dewa dan me je bara chur je nyere chadan nidan chebe dan nyo ne bara chur je ma nam ga dan yambi semjian damji Dewa dong devi ju dong dembara chura je dumara dong dumara ki ju dong chibara chura je dumara devi dewa dong devara chura je nyane chakdang ni dong chibe dong nyon na debara chura je.
May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Hallo, Bruder? No. Okay, I'll do it again. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness that is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Koduk.
타투 모후바 레 총레스 차자 라디오 차자 친구데 타투 모후레 총레스 로이 타유 송지 마저와 로이 유트 마저라스 로키 유트 마저레 송지케 가서는 송마다 송지니나 할라요스 로이 마저나 송지니 요마레스 我在节目我是多少呢？这边就然后刚是节外面的项目，我现在跑多少呢？是吧？空中可以去就这么的，让些干着呗，是的。
So, me back to our text. So the last verse that we spoke about was what was it? The Chakselodira. Oh yeah. So we said, noble masters of the flawless practice lineage, I bow before you. Be my refuge and grant your blessing. So it was the prostration, and so we spoke about that being related to the view, the practice, and the conduct, and then. So regarding this realization of the view that is Mahamudra, Lord Jigten Sumgön had said that Mahamudra arises from ultimate devotion. And that is a state of mind that transcends the intellect, the conceptual mind. And if there is no conceptual mind, if one transcends the intellect, then there's also no grasping at a subject-object duality. And so it is said that, so when one realizes the unborn luminosity, clear mind, the mind itself, that seeing of the mind itself will dry out the kind of a river of samsara, of samsaric existence.
근데 지금말에 그런 거는 다제 레줌들의 이체체네 세로당네 다 고송 용아이소 요아미비테 곰네나 상지라나 타르 상지야테라 타르 고마도 체파르트 다나마시 세니당데 바셰기 제송네 대상학이나 맹아 여러 인고 조금 단위 책이 왕 효르마송네 제마송 단위 책 제마송네 샘고 저 통야월에 모초치네 왕탕 담아 토는 공네나 세네 상지메제 태송마도 오스 어때네 한세 세네를 메게주다 사밍아라서 내가 네가 잡친로치는 심하다 냐라지 냐라나미제메제 태송마도 정도 말하게 어때 뉴테네 저보다 맞소 레전드의 게임 체계 니르치고야 레전드의 이체치야 백해치 버린도
So Miller Rebbaum had said that when you really believe in karma, when you trust in karma, and you give up concerns for this life, and you totally dedicate your entire being, your body, speech, and mind, unwaveringly to practice, then enlightenment is actually not far. And especially when you follow a qualified guru, and from that guru you receive the essential instructions of the Vajrayana, and if you practice them without falling into kind of conceptualizations, like conceptualizing about these instructions, if you practice them and then recognize your mind through these instructions, then there is no doubt that you will attain enlightenment even in this lifetime. However, he's also said that if you engage in the 10 non-virtuous actions, or especially the 5 extremely negative crimes, if you engage in extremely negative action, then there is no doubt that you will fall into the lowest of hells. So really the takeaway from this instruction is that it's so important for us to trust in karma.
드네 다 가르송 오래서나 단지견송 오게 대당된베 제고 칸다 다 대바당된데 제고 용은 거기 공원도 대당된베 제고 칸다 케이스 초대 통상 전바 점지스 쇼랑 나 상지 다들 라마 탐바서 고마서 다그 전바 통화다 다 통도 말아 다 전바 점지게 스베 동안 말을 좀 같이 있어 스베 동안 말을 좀 특별해서 내배 제로 좀면 다 독송내 있는데 매한테 주의게 제로라고 해서 초다 차체로 다 차체서 라통한테 어떤 일이 좀 어떻게 차체스 정도가
And Jigten Sumgön, in some words of prostration, he says that if a faithful, a devoted person only thinks of the guru, or sees the guru, but nowadays we don't see those past Kagyu masters. But if we only think about these past masters, that will protect one from all samsaric suffering. It is like the king that transforms the 3 poisons into medicine. So to that king, I prostrate.
等等，咱们叫人先听嘛，可能那听到他，格局太大的穷的，总体就有人多一了那的，这格局太大是，格局恐怕太大的穷的，总体就的。有人不拿是，有人不是那，有人不拿是那是没几块钱的，要不一的送呢，这娘们俩去这个钱是拿的是，我当具备让你一动的简单的那心都具备，但我咱叫人先听完，写起我一个不把钱，我说他这专门他们家完了啥的，这个咱叫人先听完噻，可能咱叫人，咱叫人先听完噻，这个可能去啥一把，我这一个过给你噻，我这呢，我这这里头。
Now coming back to our actual text, the Garland of the Sublime Path. And so then in the next line it says, having cherished the spoken advice of these Kagyu masters in my heart for so long. So having cherished the advice of these masters for long means that I never forget about them. I practice them, keeping them in mind always. So having them in my heart always, I shall now write down these most treasured oral instructions for those who are directly or indirectly devoted to me as a precious garland that is the sublime path. So this verse is the commitment to compose this text. So with that, he commits to complete the composition of this text. And we already spoke about the meaning of the text name. And so he said, this is the text I'm now going to write down.
真的，他点就看啥，他说他们以前把托班都把送了，真的，他们在敲这情况，同就去他们啊，吹酒去嘛，晓得吧？吹酒现在吹嘛，在罗松。说想了其他培养没吧？这就蛮晓得，你们两个说里头了，这个的实际蛮晓得，没玩起嘛就不的，没玩起嘛就现在没，他这你们俩经常就把就把我的经常在他们这也晓嘛上来，他们这趟点吧，我听着这一些过的是，这看着的是那他多少讲呢？他得找为了嘛也说话是那些的是，我真的那就说啊，就叫什么，你里面那他妈给骗个嘛的是。当我没那好，你还是浪就把这事的，当我我才中多。
And so then it says, first of all, the person who wishes to attain liberation and the omniscient state of Buddhahood should remember the 10 kinds of ways. So, first of all, now I guess we are referring to a commentary. So it says that you should follow these words precisely, but without being carried away by mere conceptuality, but without merely just following the words. You also have to actually really internalize and practice them. And since we practice the practice lineage that is endowed with blessings, the samaya must be kept and never be lost. And so that is to practice the meaning wholeheartedly, and that the meaning of the lineage that derives from Vajradhara and reaches the root guru. Now, Jigdan Sumgön also said that if you have no courage, then the instructions alone will not be beneficial. So without like wholeheartedness or determination, the instructions alone are meaningless. But then if you don't have the instructions, also you can't do the practice. So.
真的就这种程度了。他当晚的做的那么多切盘跑吧，穷了我的也是多我朋友说的，没钱那样当晚穷了我他强求先也当他国家。那么公呀，他瞧着幸福公呀，这个话听啊我，但当晚他，当晚你所从这里的所晓得的是，可是呢， 제 창조성의 참여의 창조성당 뭐가 된 도초지 대 현바도 막초지 좀등아 초지 대는 동안 참여 기념한테 총을 보드레스 어떤 냠내지 도나 좀 타와다 연태지와 같이 요 말이스 그래서 요 말이스 총을 어디 다 말이와 치고래 정도 너무 pomo트웨이 진짜 정도나 총을 어디 말이와 치고래스
And Suchiden Sumya said that his own guru, Pagmodrupa, gave the most important instructions. And that is the instruction on the fivefold path. So these are the principal instructions to practice. And so this fivefold path consists of bodhicitta, practicing the Yidam deity, guru devotion, Mahamudra, and dedication. And the fivefold path, he said, combines the sutras and the tantras, where the first path of bodhicitta, love and compassion, belongs to the sutras, and the other four belong to the tantras. So all practice, the essence of all practice really is this fivefold path. And so Pagmodrupa said that it is flawless and it possesses only perfect qualities. There is no contradiction in the fivefold path. And therefore he said to Jigten Songkyan, you should never separate from those five practices. So Jigten Songkyan said that he gave many instructions, such instructions to prevent afflictive emotions from arising and to abandon those afflictive emotions that have arisen. However, the most profound instructions is this fivefold path. There's no instruction more profound than this.
저는 지금 좀 지성을 제 말씀을 가르쳐나 장단이 이제 창조성 장바의 이제 창조성 같이 방미 zon의 양스 그까지 장 이제 창조성 뭐 공부를 좀 이나前辈讲좀 다른意思kon jigen so ko chamje nyam nyong me no so do te na da nga so ho lu so da king ba jong se nga ja mi ga chi ya je yo ro wo chen yan ji jigen so mo de da 前辈过被忙不中前把的呢在培养忙不有吧他前辈可以替强替些被没谁他第几排的他有了哇我才对他chamje nyam nyong da la mi 生命境界进步当时生命境界进步当强调生命nyam nyong 的我在强调什么的生命境界我nyam nyong yo是人力来说东啊他讲人力教的话我人力教人力去来说他都东啊说忙不起了偏把拉是我忙不起偏都是我的强那个他强调生命境界进步强调什么这种光的我这忙不起偏都是特别进步上啊就对他来说nyam nyong特别进步上啊nyam nyong是个的话我这对他是说讲nyam是那样的质量他们记质量他们记的내가 참아 늘 토도 참내지 창조 세미요메 호텔 토디도 신야가다 제발 저에 추는 제발 당보지 또 냠내 집에 내가라 대 창조 초도 샘지 제에서 어디 창조 샘지 고래 스테이스 샘지 고래 공매 양양세다 저한테 공매게 좀 마보 좀소 그러니까 아마 고마스 오케이 공선이야 소소라고 어디 냐 소리스 냠스 용어 말아와서 어디 냠용 소소 냠내 치네 냠스 용어들 말아 완전히 제게 진행하나 어떤 전이 제 근본이 벌써 좀너 풀마다 전이 제게 진보의 이제 진행되나 대 변화 같이 오시라고 뭐 소도 말해 뭐 통지점도 이게 로지스 통 단들이 인사에서 이게 말로 하잖아 장년군은 장년군 폐쇄 편게 말했어 이게 지금 로 하셔도 이게 뒤 소소 저 범자고 sta 가리데 세도 뒤 범자는 소도 변화 좀 보여요 세도 전류리 좀나 뒤에 소소 좀너 당하네 절대 전류도 변화 我在路上说种当我去的，我在当片头有的，人家管那个片子，面积喇叭上去的，那把片他那个片子，他没把那把在用那挺久的，面给在面的路钱的啥呢？片头我的路啥呢？片头我的面给下去，苍茫把这落下呢，那把片头还要我的，是吧？现在强调理解强调现实， 어디 제수 좀 어디 냠냠 버렸어. 소소 냠냠 제 버렸어. 소남 소당 이些措施。我的呢，소남措一些措的，他们亲兄看啥子，托的妈的，亲兄看的啥呢？这只有他们他才用个，是他这开起不是差的，不是那两行了，他们就是求的，他讲那些强求相公庙，他是这样的，一当他是借用个，这里嘛是，长嘛的强那些强求相对的，碰中他偷说啥了哇？지난 가대 지고 말이야. 그래서 냠내 가시나. 넘바 상제 타파 티파 친구 냠내 장초 셈이 탐이 봐. 제 차대 여러분.
Jigen Sungen said that so many people speak about and also cultivate love, compassion, and bodhicitta. But when it comes to love, he said, I actually do not have a lot of experience with that. But of course, you have to keep in mind, it's also a Tibetan tradition to be a bit self-humbling, a bit self-deprecating. So obviously he did have experience with love, and he actually gave extensive teachings on love, on loving kindness. There is really a very elaborate instructions on that. But that's what he said. He says, I don't have much experience when it comes to love, but when it comes to compassion, immeasurable compassion and bodhicitta, I do have experience. And he draws this experience from his disease of leprosy that he contracted that gave him a lot of suffering. And through that, he understood the suffering of others, and he developed great compassion for others, especially through his disease. And so therefore he emphasizes compassion and bodhicitta a lot. And he said that really all the practice of the Mahayana, and in particular the sadhana practices, the deity practices of the Vajrayana, all the activities accomplished through Vajrayana practices all have their root within compassion. The key point of all these practices lies in compassion. And so especially when we practice the Vajrayana, it all begins with this intent, this motivation of bodhicitta. And so he said that this is what all the past masters spoke about. This is what you must be experienced in, and this is what you must never lose. And so then he also said that that means it is something that you must directly experience. In other words, you should not just follow verbal conventions, concepts about it, just words. If you just understand all the words about it, you do not really understand. There's no benefit in just reading all the scriptures without practicing them. For example, he said it is just like a sick person who wants to eat some medicine, and then he takes a medicine book and he reads the whole book and he understands everything, and he knows that, oh, if I take this, then it's good for that. If I take this, good for that. He reads the whole text, but that it's not going to heal him. He has to actually take some of the medicine. So Chicken Zongyan said you have to actually think about it, really reflect on it. What are the benefits of that? How is it? So you have to really experience this mind of love, compassion, and bodhicitta. And with that as the basis, as the foundation, one should accumulate merit and wisdom. So whatever practice one engages in, high or low, it all has its root in bodhicitta. And it is the first path of the fivefold path. All the other paths, such as the yidam and so forth, all really arise from the foundation of love and compassion. And that's not just the case for the fivefold path to any practice that we engage in particular, the Mahayana, Vajrayana practices have their root in bodhicitta.
真的到了教人家可能情况，可能给我一种他来不话晓得，咱旁边的设备求就是解释全把的小娃，咱旁边的设备求就是哇，唐不对。
So then we come to our text again, the ornament of the sublime path, and now we come to the actual text, and it begins with the 10 kinds of waste.
真的，咱跑步的是对我说，咱家拉在拉松，咱家拉公里趟起步松，咱怕在拉松的这种别跑步的那个，拉他我说我记得起呢，进去都很大个没些，听懂的啊。
So this term waste, so it's also kind of like it means loss of something. For example, if you lose a nice object, then you will feel you will suffer a loss. So there's 10 kinds of loss.
真的，咱长跑这可是你把各位没有装嘛的，没给这块来了，决定跑送到他，没有做随便你要干的好不学的是好的，但没有你要别干的好不的，没有特别这个错做那么咋的，没有错的里面，没有特别要嘛的，别强的想呢啊，他的通路的其实先把忙不学的，我俺那时候没有这个是忙不有嘛的话，我这就你一个话题都那快学的。别讲了，像出马这出厂这用了，经常那做这怕，都像讲的都在学了，那这个这没是偏向有这个的，常干的。我曾经在有的，他讲说这种那忙起别讲了，确实做不得做学生啊，说这个，我曾经听着这，他讲做那强干帮了嘛，已经听着那个了，但是通往这两个是听着说，咱们东西他别讲的了，你要吧，那你要吧，忙学的。这里他用的一大地是用的，他一大忙修的，这里土著用的，土著的，他土著我说这他这不让我他是通的了哇，我这些这呢这里他土里里头公布的，我这样对我来说，他你不可能没有脏嘛，但没有你开始那个开始那起头的那说，两地 drop 那 drop 头的，我现在的从前 drop 那 drop 头的。我才找很多现在找嘛找吧去，这个没给这个来就对嘛，说他才前面从给的马几，别看嘛找吧去，这个就把去的，那这边碰我的，什么都是出来的，然后在那个人他说，在他们开始在阿拉同样的，我等咱们这来看见去嘛找吧去，说，推手他妈在那出汗着，这边就是说这里说过他妈拿啥家，我他就现在了，从前找嘛，他起码怕的时候，我他就用个话，我这路掐松了真的。真的别跑步的这种人啊，我这蛮价值观的这种人。
The first one is this perfect human body, so difficult to find, is wasted by engaging in non-virtuous evil deeds. So this precious human body, a precious human body, is very difficult to find. Unless we have accumulated a vast amount of merit, we won't just easily find such a human body. For example, when we think about other beings, the population of other beings, we can see how few human beings there are. When we think about animals, for example, if you think about an ant's colony, or just the ants living underneath a rock, there probably are more ants than there are people in a whole country. Or if you think about the oceans, the waters, and the water is really pervaded by microorganisms and different animals and the small little bacteria and so on. And this is just what we can see. And then there's also those we cannot see. There's, for example, the hell realms, and the hell realms has the greatest amount of beings, like highest population. Then there's the hungry spirits. There's a little bit less hungry spirits than hell beings, but far more than animals though. And the animals we can see, and there are so many more animals than human beings. So we can see how rare a precious human body really is. And also what is unique about precious human existence is that in this life, we can do anything. We actually have a choice to do things. We can actually accomplish nirvana. We can become liberated in this very lifetime. But then if we go the other way and we just engage in evil deeds, in unwholesome actions. We don't do anything good. We just do all kinds of negative things. And that is a great loss. It is a waste of a precious human life. For example, there is some who drink a lot of alcohol and they don't go to work, and then they waste all their money on their addictions. And even in this life, even living alone future lives, they're already getting sick and they're suffering in this life. And so this verse reminds us to not fall into this path.
真的就是没来的别个，这种原来其他公布这些，没有人间供了，供送的是没有人间都公布的种的是，就这同那供就没事，就那种供去了没都是吧，是不说也得块钱是吧？这是不说那种的，说过的得块钱去的是，年送东啊起的，那年送东啊成多呀去，搞把没不就说的起的，那搞把起的呢？哎，钱的都把做不了，这样子，钱都别同他是都学的是。那这边都别通嘛着，是吧？他就这个几天的有去的讲，那现在通的按照特别嘛的是，那先把老呢我着特别是吧？他那先把老呢我着特别的送的吧。
Milarepa said to the hunter Angamudojim that generally it is said that precious human body is very rare, but when I look at you, it doesn't seem so rare. When I look at you, I see a sinful monster. The only way for you to go is into the lower realms. So you think that you accomplish the meaning of this life, but actually all you do is evil. So he said that if you turn away from this, if you turn away from evil, this is how you will attain accomplishments.
真的，假如国产吧，就是吧，国产被开始从参加人过去，你把各位捐钱的送我的是，既然什么钱这些忙不有的上的有的是，其他在没头做南通的是用的别强了是，金巴的中央东亚然后去这中央然后听着，在没里头们上面上弄南通今年别拥有的是啊，同样听南通和军旗可能他结用的是，我听人的听忙同样到同样南通的忙成了的。没头个呀，就这这种的吧。
Geva Gotsambam had said that generally we think that there are so many people, but then when you think about it, the cause for birth, for precious human rebirth, is generosity or ethics, ethical discipline. And actually, when we look around, we can see just very few actually have that cause for finding a precious human body. Because for the most part, actually, uninterruptedly, continuously, people are completely caught up in a stream of the five afflictive emotions, the five poisons. They're constantly caught up in those afflictive emotions. So very few actually possess a real cause for a precious human rebirth.
中国朋友这边开始从事没有特别的，特别求其他的这些讲广播，没推荐广播的可别忙我有事，战队呀，让我年中央让我他才好，从大洋让我他就基本上的没有说吃饭上的就是做着的是看见。我这里他们听着在这些往这说说，前的通的 drop 他们的要我说，可以前的通 drop 出来的。前的从着嘛头发起，但是这个来看着，好像起码头起，这墙上的通着是，这里听着起，这就说多，这就那墙着多，我这是变蓬勃的意思。我听着里头像秋季没联系，我这秋季干嘛他没联系，我这从蓬勃的那头，那听着没几的钱呢，那说没有在通当点把西过的意思，没有通当点把，那这个上头要不当然说。没有那个在，他求着那 drop 图个，以前着那 drop 图个，这里，俺说开始不是说是，他是那么大，在前呢，过求的那以前那可以那在，在长坡长下，在过去长什么那说，这都蛮几吧，我他甚至其他们说没有通常的吧，是差不多吧。
Pamodruba also said Even though some have found the precious human body, very few, even fewer, practice the actual Dharma. And for the most part, we are still preoccupied with the 8 worldly concerns. We are preoccupied with defeating our enemies and looking after our friends. And we are in constant concern for this life. We only try to accomplish things for this life. And if you are able to accomplish something good in this life, then that's a little better. But some can't even do that. They don't go to work, they drink a lot, and this is how their life just passes by and comes to an end. And that's a real loss. So he said, do not fall into these worldly concerns, but use this human existence in a meaningful way. Think about it carefully. With a precious human birth, you can do anything, whether it is in the Dharma or in the world. Whatever you do it with a pure intention, with complete sincerity, with honesty, without deceiving and cheating others. If you do so, if you do everything wholeheartedly, then your human existence will become meaningful.
that's it. That's it. That's it. Denmark 왜 전절 밀류 장만데스. 추미 타마시 싫어 방스다. 뭐다 밀류 투브 가보래. 텔레 당원까지 가보세. 전절 밀류 장 denmark denmark 봐. 다 전절 밀류 장 장만데 특이야. 까래 가보래. 스테 추미 싫어. 그래서 방은 싫은 파보래. 스타 전절 밀류 장만 스톱 되리. 대자 대화지 저와지我他就有了我从上没有我在托的我在他求起嘛头吧去这样的那些送到旁边的我觉得俺说在他没从嘛那个蒙古有的他求经过这个的他那个不有的没好会说从嘛的我从嘛在那个小区啊有的当我说那个忙的没办法都你看那个蒙古有的这样的你那他俺说在推说我都有的意思我求那去从那边头有的在推说我都有的刚说说在去陈主席，咱们这就别多情况有的，我在球迷确实和他们把当时嘛起码送来结果的是，这些从那边跑过来的是，我就这么来的，可是说是那米下场去多去那米下场出来的话，多些是吧，多些的话，美国的那片子吧是那片子呀的话，他提醒的。我这是从那么讲，他说多吧，那听着出现的是，说那么啥，看他说他们进行的恐怕通过我来才是，就那。他说要要出囊也是，他说那么要出囊，挺叫没的。这两年的确讲，这种主要的年度区别那样，我当时的确在起马了看这个话说呢，没有那个起头来，是啥时在起头呢？身边同志都起头嘛，那这个是，我难吃着的，难这样的是，我他我说没的，他在没有那样着呀，马着呀，三着下的我是，就是没那的呗，我听就没有的，三着在下头，现在嘛着，对嘛点了一他点也是。对嘛，点下去这个，最起码的，这些年的培养去，对嘛，然后 drop 进来 drop to 个的是，我真的，这嘛进来 drop to 嘛的是，但是点也是那个，别人我老把这就从那，现在这你看起我，这里抢着个是，我这一辈，这没哪里辈，这嘛玩这里需要，你这是考虑都是的。
Emily Ribbon, as you said that. Sorry, first this line here. So the line here, it says, the second line says, this perfect human body with the leisures and endowments so hard to obtain is wasted by dying an ordinary unspiritual person. So we have said that it's very hard to be born a human being. And it's even harder to have those leisures and endowments, those 8 leisures and 10 endowments. That's much harder to obtain such a birth with all these freedoms. So not to use this opportunity and practice the Dharma and just spend one's whole life in distraction is a great waste, is a great loss. And of course, understands that everyone is busy, especially nowadays. Everyone has many things to do, and it's very difficult to only practice the Dharma. But we should consider it whenever you have time. just do the best you can and practice it as much as you can. Because if you spend your life in distraction and just become completely ordinary, at the time of death, that is a huge loss. As a Milarepa said that now you have a body of karmic ripening composed of flesh and blood. For now, it holds the consciousness. If you wish for liberation and omniscience, for enlightenment, it becomes your ship, your boat, to accumulate the merit required to attain enlightenment. But if you do not use it well, if you use it to engage in evil deeds, then this very body will drag you down into the 3 lower realms. So the special quality, ability that we have as human beings is that we can't do anything. For example, an animal doesn't have a choice to do this or that. But a human being, as a human being, you have a choice to do this or that. So Milarepa said, therefore, the human existence is like a crossroads between going up or down. And it is through this human existence that you can accomplish something very meaningful for this and all future lives to come. But it is also through this human existence, it also actually poses a great danger because you have this ability. There's also the danger that you will not use it in this way, that you will misuse it, and in this way it will drag you down. So Milarepa says, this is what I heard from Marpa.
저는 다 사고를 뭐지 가르쳐는 거잖아. 저와 나고 나라 녀바 마쇼레 스탄 저와 나요로 야 상마 니 기본的就像这个啥的这这当在对场景有一个大考这怎么那么你是嘛这都在土中空中这个土都啥空中我这听着完啊怎么这个吧我真着完那了녀바 마쇼레这里一大动作用个的是这一大这里同着动作这个嘛用个的是同着动那没被什么样嘛是我这样的这那个我的是没绿头发提拿了，他其他是天就你把体位讲搞我的这种多。
And then Boba said that within the 5 states of existence, and so normally we speak about 6 states of existence, and so when we speak about 5, then the gods and the demigods, the jealous gods, are combined into 1, and if not, if 6, then they're separate. But so the gods, together with the demigods and the humans would be and in the higher realms and the rest in the lower realms. And so he said that among those 5 states of existence, the most are in hell. And then there are 1,000 times less hungry spirits than there are hell beings, and 1,000 times less animals than there are hungry spirits. And far fewer than that of human beings. And even within human beings, a precious human being with the freedoms and fortunes is extremely rare.
真的这个不别，咱们他天教做你个吧，你有的是，对吧？不送错吧，你个吧当这，真的就吧不送错吧，你个我你有的也是，我通过他对吧不送错吧，你个我在看的是呢，没看不年纪帮过的是。没空那几部他看的是那他你知吧也到他你把车长动了这当但那样就这么多你把车长动了他也到真空制作进来就这样所以说老说嘛的同着这那他是那这种因为那说的说因为他不是那他去马达为啥那在那边去西藏呢他这个情况就你们西藏其实有嘛的我真的安保马上是可以但那就回啊有嘛的卡查呀有嘛的我真的在去西藏呢其他我的嘛他啤酒嘛他不我这我在往不马上，我这里拉路线那他，他这个啥，然后就买当时三十万啥，我他这那的没才，我真的六三件线呢，他六三件线呢，那就他的那片多嘛，六三在我嘛，我这就去洛阳这个嘛的也是，我这就去搞别人嘛的是，我这没看不多的是肯定那个的。 我这对这门头不见，你结包头马切吧，贴吧是我这门头不见结包头马切吧，贴吧的也是更不会。你把这咱就是说，不从说吧，你个身上多，真的先教人啊，的，让教人啊，有的是，倘不先教人啊的，他上届马配不刚去啊，这那能有嘛的是上届几天穷的，上届就的穷把个把的是，我上届穷个把的，然后上届开始初中个嘛，这初中个把的是。俺这是初中了，电把局是那个公布的是，我这电把局那有的是，我这呢电把局是这边看啥的，俺公布的是，把内地那是俺这中间公布是吧？我这里公布的是解释对吧？先前的对吧？这边这吧解释这吧？这解释对吧？看啥公布的是的，我这去，我当你把这让叫那的，电把开头没有拖把讲啊，拖讲他没有拖的，那俺这一次先把拖这个了，有时间吧他，他俺不长嘛。真的，台巴有吧？来其他马路吧？我倒没空接包这帮我，我倒连他没空接帮我，我倒让人看就是吧，就从我的没对这些的你搞完的也是，这根本没上人啊这。
Mhm. And so then Gambopa gave a teaching on those 8 unfree states and the 5 kind of there's 10 of fortunes. So 5 are circumstantial outside of yourself, and 5 are personal. And so this is how he explained them. So first he explained the 8 states of being of freedom. So you are free from 8 unfree states, and so these are number 1. We are not born as a hell being. If you are born as a hell being, and then you have no opportunity to practice the Dharma. So even if you actually think about it, there's just no opportunity there. Then second, if you're born as a hungry spirit, a preta, then also you have no opportunity. You're tormented by your own negativity. You have no chance to practice the Dharma. Or if you are an animal, you can practice the Dharma. Or if you're a long-lived god, you won't practice the Dharma because you're just distracted by the pleasures of life. Or if you are born in a border region, so in a place where the Dharma has not appeared, it just doesn't exist in your world. The Dharma does not exist in your world, then you won't practice the Dharma. And then 6, if you have imperfect faculties, you can practice the Dharma. For example, there are some who can't hear or who can't speak or can't really comprehend. There are some impediments to the comprehension of the Dharma. Then it's also more challenging. Or number 7, if you're holding wrong views, then even if the Dharma is right before you, it's useless, because if you have wrong views, you won't practice that Dharma in front of you. And then number 8 is if a Buddha has not appeared. So if a Buddha has not appeared, then there is no Dharma to practice. So that is those 8 unfree states that we are not born in, and so that's the 8 qualities. And then there is 10 fortunes, and so there are 5 like circumstantial or outside of yourself fortunes, external fortunes, and then there's 5 personal fortunes. So the 5 external fortunes are, when that first Buddha has come into this world. So in the past, there might have been a time where no Buddha has come to the world. And if there's no Buddha in the world, then also there's no one teaching the Dharma. But it's not the case for us, because the Buddha has appeared in this world. And then the second one is And that Buddha also, he taught the Dharma. In some worlds, the Buddha does appear, but he happens not to teach the Dharma. In our world, the Buddha not only appeared, but he also taught the Dharma. And then the third one is these Dharma teachings still remain. They are still present. They have not yet disappeared. And then the fourth one is that there are people who practice these teachings. They are followers of these teachings. And then number 5 is that these followers have compassion. One can receive compassion from others in this world. And so those are the 5 external fortunes. And then there's 5 personal fortunes, like pertaining to yourself. And these are, so first of all, you're a human. So you're born as a human. Secondly, you are born, it's called in a central land, meaning also in a place where you actually encounter the Buddha Dharma. In other places you might not, but you're in a place where you do encounter the Dharma. Then the third one is you have your sense faculties complete to comprehend the Dharma. Then number 4 is that you
连着他马路时间多少呢？连着他马路这些个这生命啊来说，其他现在就头嘛的是吧？生命啊，中这个起步起的呢，这连他我从这是，我这都是现在这个头个嘛的是，两面其他的，然后是起有嘛生命啊的。
Yeah, so that was number, where was I? Number 3. And then number 4 is to not engage in extreme karmic activity. And that means it refers to these 5 extremely negative crimes with immediate retribution. If you commit any of these, then no good results will come from anything else you do, any other practice you do in life. So no extreme negative action. And then number 5 is that you have faith in the jewels. So, yeah.
我真的大家就能他就能力把心个始终是吧？我这期真的根本别这可是总是呢这没有人过去特别推的，我马家那马工呢，起码他在别强的没空间，我接送呢，这光被乱中个嘛的是，光被他写个嘛的是，我这他在光被推的，是我在嘛个光家过来也是，我真的今天中午天就特别推送的。这边人过马金呢，他参加特别，他的天就没有要不特别的，是除了这边人过马金呢，其他都新的讲师，或者其他都新给的是，现在可以讲说他们就是，可以讲说他们的，真的这个能去求，让我们去，他这个能去那求，那让我们去就是，我说俺送送就东安，是吧？这俺送送不东安，挺用的是这样就，他俺说也我年没去，他们他在天就没有上的，出了马送我去。我曾经去过的，从头真的在山上面真的第一次公讲的是吧
？So if you so also Boba said that later on, so now that you have a precious human life, you have to use this life to practice. Also, this is what he really said in this opening verse, by saying that this precious human life is difficult to find. And so Gampopa said that now, when you do have, at the time when you do have a precious human body, you must use it to engage in practice, because later on, once you are born in the lower realms, in other places, there is no more thought of practice, nor is there any opportunity, any way you could practice. Now is the time to practice. Now you have an opportunity. Now you're not born in those 8 unfree states. And Thich Nhat also said something similar, that now that you have those freedoms and fortunes, this precious human body, if you do not practice now when you have it, then the kind of demons will drag you down into endless samsara, and you will be caught up in an endless stream of birth, old age, sickness, and death without any self-control, without any freedom over it. You will be bound to experience the suffering of the lower realms. Therefore, practice now and do not waste this opportunity of this precious human life. So at this point, we're going to stop and do some meditation.
真的，他提问中我讲中央嘛，那么这三些情况里，我想他的意思是我们家这样做这些事情。
So Ruben says, I don't have a bell here because I'm somewhere else, but let's just start to meditate.
야, 다들 인터넷, 저리 계신, 지대 중공 저리 계신, 제로 하나.
And we read the Chitun Sumgan dedication.
다 요새 말이야.
We have
네, 대전도, glories, glories.
Glorious, holy, venerable, precious, kind, and lineage lamas, divine assembly of Vidams and assemblies of Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Yogins, Yoginis, and Dakinis, dwelling in the 10 directions. Please hear my prayer. May the virtues collected in the 3 times by myself and all sentient beings in samsara and nirvana, and the innate root of virtue not result in the 8 worldly concerns, the 4 causes of samsara, or rebirth as a Shravaka or Pratyeka Buddha. May all mother sentient beings, especially those enemies who hate me and mine, obstructors who harm, misleading Maras, and the hordes of demons experience happiness, be separated from suffering, and swiftly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, and precious Buddhahood. By the power of this vast root of virtue, may I benefit all beings through my body, speech, and mind. May the afflictions of desire, hatred, ignorance, arrogance, and jealousy not arise in my mind. May attachment to fame, reputation, wealth, honor, and concern for this life not arise for even a moment. May my mind stream be moistened by loving kindness, compassion, and bodhicitta, and through that may I become a spiritual master with good qualities equal to the infinity of space. May I gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra in this very life. May the torment of suffering not arise at the time of my death. May I not die with negative thoughts. May I not die confused by wrong view. May I not experience an untimely death. May I die joyfully and happily in the great luminosity of mind as such, and the pervading clarity of Dharmata. May I, in any case, gain the supreme attainment of Mahamudra at the time of death or in the bardo.
Yeah, okay, thank you, everybody. 되네, 사고지만 지금 되네. 되는 건 됐어.
We're finished for today and see you all next week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, teacher.
Thank you.